So in an attempt to provide the highest level of transparency on the Independent Investor channel, something that I really don't mind doing, a lot of folks will charge for this level of service, I guess. I don't understand. These are moves that I'm actually looking at, and I don't mind providing them to you guys. I think if you guys are willing to hit the subscribe button and come to a channel like within YouTube to seek out some investing opinions and seek out more discussion on the stock market, man, I think that's the least that I can do. And that's just my unique perspective on things. But I wanted to come out with some ideas. I know we've got the 2019 Roth IRA contributions specifically for my audience, the self-directed Roth IRA contributions. You guys, my community of self-directed investors, man. I'm so proud to be one myself. It was one of the best financial decisions that I've ever made in my life. It's liberating. And I just come on to YouTube to share the message with anybody out there that's interested in taking control of their own financial future. The financial rewards cannot be, they can't be dismissed. It's amazing to know how impactful it is to liberate your dollars inside of your portfolios and allow them to grow unobstructed. And that's why we can be a little bit more aggressive on our stock picks. We can be a little bit more defensive with the amount of exposure we seek out from the stock market. What I mean by that is if you had $10,000 to invest, you don't need to take the whole wad and invest the $10,000 into a volatile stock market. Right? So the programs differ between being a self-directed investor. We know long-term we're going to win out because we don't have the effective fees over our portfolio. Conversely, if you went into a financial planner and sat down and said, hey, I've got $10,000 to invest, they're going to say thank you very much, and they're going to put you into 4 mutual funds, and they're going to take the whole thing. And when this portfolio goes down 40% and you're sitting on $6,000, still paying exuberant fees to the financial planners, they're going to tell you to stay long the stock market, all right? That's what they're trained to do. That's the whole thing. Now, I'm going to tell you to stay long the stock market for different reasons, all right? The same $10,000 of investment capital, if you had $2,500 to take and invest in the stock market, 25%, and put some cash to the side, always very, very important to seek out a buffer, right? Because as a self-directed investor, again, we can be a little bit more aggressive. We have the freedom and flexibility to seek out the entire investing landscape. We can pick what bucket we want. We can pick what product we want. And that freedom and flexibility comes from being a self-directed investor because you're not being sold a product that somebody sitting behind an oak desk with a fake tree in the corner is getting paid a kickback on. All right? That's the whole point of the Independent Investor channel, is plugging people into the stock market, as volatile as it might be, but not sharing any of the profits. All the profit is kept by you guys. I wanted to kind of address what I thought were the best growth ideas in 2019. And I want to foster a community dialogue on this because we really want to provide multiple options. I've got 5 here, obviously all from the tech sector, my very favorite sector. I own all of these stocks, and I'm proud to do so. I've got pretty sizable positions, sizable enough to where I can actually average down a little bit, and I've been very patient. I've taken each one of these stocks into a pretty heavy downturn. Guys, for you guys that have been invested in the stock market over the last 3 months, there has been no place to hide. And these are some of the best quality companies out there going right now, all right? These cover a lot of different businesses that you should want to be part of, okay? Online retail, search, social media, cloud computing, all right? These are some of the, if you were going to go out and just highlight, cybersecurity, that's another one that I throw in there. Alternative energy, LNG, things like that are really on the horizon to be investable arenas, all right? And you seek out those exposures by seeking out those specific arenas, all right? And I just wanted to kind of earmark some of the stocks that I'm looking at increasing my position on in 2019. I thought you guys would really appreciate the visibility on how I'm going to make those Roth contributions stretch a little bit. CRM Salesforce is an absolute bargain. The further it goes down, this company makes money hand over fist. It's the premier cloud play. I've got a couple stocks on this list, and you guys know that I do own IBM as well. That's how I seek out my cloud exposure. Now, IBM is involved in a ton of different businesses, but CRM Salesforce makes the list. If you guys are looking at and have really the fitness in your portfolio to take on some of these, I do not want new investors who don't have a lick of experience on the stock market looking at these stock picks and saying, I'm good to go, and jump right into them. That's really not what I want. All right. There's not one of these stock picks that represent any more than 5% of my total overall portfolio value. So I'm very, very careful about owning this exposure. And to be quite transparent with you guys, I bought really a lot of these at the wrong time. I bought Facebook at 180. It's come back a ton. Amazon, I've been kind of sliced on. I'm down about 20% in Amazon. That's fine. That happens sometime. You can't dwell on mistakes. But these are going to be some of the positions. Now, Facebook is probably one of those positions that I will at least hold true on, obviously, but because I'm looking at it kind of forming a base here. I already own 90 shares of the stock, and I don't know if I'm going to be stepping any more into this. Now, for you guys that do not have exposure to Facebook, I'll just tell you the truth. Facebook's not going anywhere, okay? I think some of these fears about privacy issues are somewhat overblown. I think people are going to continue to own the premier social media play, and Facebook is just that. Why is that? Because they own Instagram, right? And Instagram is where it's at. And if you're going to seek out exposure to social media, which I believe everybody should at least want some exposure, whether or not you choose to do so is your own personal choice. I think it's crazy not to have exposure. It's a very exciting time right now to be an investor. I mean, where are some of these stocks going to be in 10 years? It's going to be a lot of fun to see where they go. I know some people are going to be like, you're crazy, Ryan, Facebook's going out of business. I get that, that's fine. And that's what really makes a market. And it's what also makes a discussion as well when we're talking about the topic of investing. Google in search, obviously the premier player here, taking a haircut back. I would not necessarily put it into a premier growth play. It's kind of a growth and turning into kind of a value play, honestly, because even the valuation on Facebook and at Google are just extremely attractive right now for a premier player. You just don't get that kind of valuation for a company that's going to grow earnings over 30%. And Facebook and Amazon is in that category. Google, not so much, but the PE, I could argue, is actually quite attractive here as well. All right. So Google is one that you could look at, and for an idea that you guys could think about if you're part of M1, I know a lot of these share prices are quite lofty. I understand that the PEs, at least on two of these names, Amazon and Salesforce, are really quite lofty, okay? I think Adobe is up there as well, but Adobe is a premier play in the cloud. All right, think about stepping into these in some of you guys that have M1 finance and can do partial shares, right? You don't have to go out and pay $1,000 to drop into one share of Google. You could step into it and buy 1/10 of a share for $100. You know what I'm saying? That's a cool feature on that particular platform. You know, buy it for 10 months and then over 10 months you own a share of Google. That's one way of kind of stepping into the shares. Amazon, say no more. It's good right here. It's going to continue to deliver. We just probably went through the best holiday season, and it's not being advertised right now. It's going to come out on the next earnings of Amazon. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch how that affects the stock price going forward as it marches back up to $2,000 a share. Good entry point on Amazon, in my opinion. Premier cloud company, online retail. Say no more. Amazon's the premier play here. You're either invested in it or you're not, okay? There's no in between. If it's a company that you want exposure in your portfolio in, again, just put it in the growth category. We don't want to put these into the portfolio to be so heavily weighted to where if they do incur a downturn, it punishes your portfolio, right? But seeking out a little bit of exposure in Amazon, again with the M1 idea, okay, partial shares, certainly want to grab it. And if you don't have exposure to it, you're getting it at a discount. And finally, Adobe Systems, the premier cloud play, again with Salesforce, get you some exposure here at $219 for Adobe. You know, I bought Adobe at the wrong time. I may be looking to add a few more shares here to my starting position in Adobe. Looks really attractive right here, guys. So the growth stocks for 2019. Here's how you can take some of that new capital, some of that new money that you're looking to put into the self-directed Roth IRA against the $6,000 cap going into 2019 contributions, guys. Leave your ideas in the community, man. Hit the thumbs up to support the message for me. Hit the notification bell, of course. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, man. Help us support this community that we're growing of self-directed investors going forward, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this message, and good luck in your investment future.